Hey, everyone, it's Isaiah. Welcome. So, if you're watching us live in my Facebook group, welcome. If you're listening to the replay, which is the proper way to listen to a podcast, isn't it? You are listening to Isaiah's Inspiring Evening podcast. This is a Deckiverse Diaries episode. So, this series is centering around decks, card decks, and people who create the card decks. It is very often a collaboration with the incredible Deckible App. And it's all about, card stories, the amazing things that one can imagine with cards, whether they're physical or digital. And today I have invited the amazing Marina Beech. Hi, Marina. To talk about one of the very juicy topics, how to use the Akashic Records with Oracle cards. But before we go in there, I would like to introduce Marina to all of you. So, Marina is the New Earth Leaders and Entrepreneurs Secret Weapon. I love to have an guest who is a secret weapon. She is supporting them behind the scenes as they remove karmic energy beliefs and conditioning that hold them back from the big, bold results that they are destined to achieve, if only they knew it. A Soul Alchemist Spiritual Intuitive channel, teacher, and author with over 30 years of experience and over 3,000 happy clients, Marina shortens the path to their ultimate destination by revealing the patterns that hold them back, creating energetic, spiritual, and mindset breakthroughs not available to them through other coaches or methods. Not only that, she also trains and enables them to do this for themselves and for their own clients by certifying them in her Akashic Records method. It's her mission to equip more leaders with these ancestral skills that serve humanity. Wow, that's impressive. I'm honored, really. So, our topic tonight is how to use the Akashic Records with Oracle cards. And I usually, as you know, if you're listening to these episodes regularly, I usually play the dummy, right? And I ask dummy questions. Well, it's not going to be difficult tonight because this is way out of my knowledge zone. So, the question is, how can we access the Akashic Records? What are the Akashic Records to start with? How to connect with them? And how can we do that easily? And Marina is going to hopefully prove that it's easy with an Oracle deck or with Oracle cards. So let's dive in.
Thank you.
What are the Oracle? What are the Akashic Records? Just
What
for
are so let's start at the very beginning. What are the Akashic Records? Okay, so they are an etheric realm that sit within the fifth dimension. So third dimension is our physical body. It's us in our human physical form. Fourth dimension, we're kind of looking at our thoughts and our feelings. Fifth dimension, we then start to enter into the spiritual realms where our ancestors, loved ones past, and we start to access the higher dimensions where all of the different beings, light beings, kind of live and reside. And so the Akashic Records are basically a cosmic library of all of your soul's information from your soul's creation. So as soon as we start to separate from source or God or whatever your terminology is, we start to have a journey of sorts. And as soon as we start to have a journey, we start to record in our Akashic Records. So it's this database of information that records all of your soul's choices, decisions, journey, memories, relationships, thoughts, feelings, the consequences of our decisions, our traumas, our wounding, our gifts, our mastery, all of it is recorded.
So obviously through various lifetimes.
All lifetimes, all timelines, all universes, and all dimensions.
tiny
So
library, right?
it's a massive library, and you can imagine that every single person on this planet, every single being ever, anywhere off planet, have got an Akashic Records. So our homes have an Akashic Records, our business has an Akashic Records, the planet has an Akashic Records, our pets and animals have Akashic Records. So you can imagine that this highway of information is, as a realm, it's constantly evolving and growing and expanding, because the universe is expanding, evolving, and growing. So we can tap into the Akashic Records to connect with our own soul's information. And the purpose of being able to do that is to basically evolve our own soul's journey. And the way to kind of envisage this is why I'm sat, in front of this library. For your listeners that are listening, I've got a depiction of loads of books on shelves, and really
I love it.
The way that we
for me, it's completely Harry Potter idea. your background is completely
Harry Potter. But usually the Akashic Records are depicted visually as a library, and every single book represents your lifetime. So that you're basically going into your library of knowledge, and you pick a book, you're picking a lifetime to then connect with, and to receive the information or to activate some healing. But we can also go in there to connect with our guides and get guidance and wisdom. We can also unlock dormant gifts that we're not actually using in this lifetime, ones that we've perhaps used, mastered, really kind of like got really adept in. We may not be using the full aspect of that gift in this lifetime, so we can actually connect in with the consciousness of that lifetime and start to use that gift again and start to strengthen it. I also use the Akashic Records to actually influence the future as well, and I don't know anybody else that does that.
Influence the future. Now you're talking real magic.
Yeah,
I love it.
Absolutely. Well, we can't tell that. We can't tell that the Akashic Records are not a psychic tool. Yeah. They're an empowerment tool, but they're not a psychic tool. So we can't tell our future in the Akashic Records, because all of our futures are already written in our Akashic Records. And but it's just really based on our choices. And what trajectory we then end up on. But what we can do is influence the future, I believe, and I've kind of tested it with percentages. And that, for me personally, my influence of using success anchors, which could be an affirmation, it could be a symbol of success, it could be particular color or something that's going to denote me anchoring in a success of some kind that I want to intend, that I want to realize. And my success rate on that is 24% increase on me doing that. Nice. As opposed to not doing anything at all. So for me, it's a useful tool to really influence. And what that does is it allows you to course correct back onto that pathway of that intention. It maybe would open more doors of opportunity. It may be that you are feeling more inspired and you have the idea that supports that intention. So there's lots of things that we can do to influence our future. However, if it's not for our highest good, because I always use that terminology with any kind of spiritual work that I do, if it's not for our highest good, it isn't going to happen. Because karmically, we want to be in alignment as much as possible. Or we've got a karmic lesson to continue to learn and evolve and grow through. Then we're not going to influence that, because we've got to complete that in some way. So that's basically what the Akashic Records are. They are, and essentially, if I was to sum it up, they're an empowerment tool. And if you're not,
might I ask, how did you encounter them in your life or in your business?
So the Akashic Records found me in quite a.
I was going to say, how did you find them? And I didn't dare. I see that. I was right. You didn't find them, they found you.
They found me in quite an unassuming way, but I was drawn to watch a Facebook Live. This was nearly 7 years ago. There was a lady that was hosting a kind of like an event in a Facebook group. And at that present time, I had been made redundant 3 times. I couldn't get back into the career that I had, a corporate career, which was really successful. And I kind of come to this crossroads. I was searching for my direction, you know, that kind of like, what's my mission? What's my purpose now? What am I here to do? Because I can't get back into my old career. And I thought, okay, she's going to give me some insights. So I'm going to watch this particular lady. Because she was using the Akashic Records, never heard of these. I was like, okay, I'm really interested in this. So I gave her my details so she could access my records on the live. And what she revealed to me was that not what I was expecting to hear. She revealed to me that I got a master program of alcoholism in my Akashic Records. I was kind of like, okay, well, that's not my purpose or direction. But what was really incredible was that I hadn't told anybody that I'd got a psychological addiction to alcohol. I was keeping that to myself, kept it away from my husband because of the shame. I was trying to cope with it myself, trying to get past it, trying to deal with it. And I was not getting anywhere. So that, from a mental perspective, was really taking up a lot of my time and energy.
Of course.
To control the physical intake. And she got her pendulum out. She said, you've got a master program of alcoholism. And within 10 seconds, she spun her pendulum. She cleared it from the Akashic Records, and the mental switch went off. And it was kind of like, it's gone. The urge, the desire, the need, all of that mental battle had completely disappeared. And I was like, okay, I need to know what the Akashic Records are, and I need to learn how to use them so I can kind of not maybe get such a big breakthrough for other people. But what I've realized from that particular session was my ego needed something really big to demonstrate that this stuff works. And for me to go all in on, you know, this was my mission, this was my purpose, this was my direction. I had it handed to me, but not in the way that I thought I was going to get it. So it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And that was 7 years ago. So I've been sober for 7 years in June, and that then allowed me to really start looking at my own stuff because I wasn't kind of battling with the mental stuff, and really start to look at my own avoidance patterns. What I was numbing out from, you know, all of the things that I was using alcohol for. So it just really opened up that. And I went all in on learning about the Akashic Records from lots of different teachers, to the point where I created my own certification, have my Oracle card deck created, have my own Akashic Ascension Aura Spray, which is a recent thing that I've also created as well. So I'm really looking at all of the ways to bring this empowerment tool to people in lots of different forms so that they can kind of find their way of connecting with it.
Okay, so we have the Akashic Records, we have your connection to them. Now, what's special about your way to deal with the Akashic Records, to get in the information?
Okay, so
because, you know, the title, with you pronounce the words of that to me, you know, immediately as my fingers go, it's like Oracle cards. What are you talking about? Tell me more.
Absolutely. So for me, I use the Akashic Records in a number of ways. If I'm leading people, a group of people, then I'll do it through meditation, which is fabulous. Well, you know, that can, you know, if we're doing healing and all of that kind of stuff, you know, that can kind of take 25, 30 minutes. It can go up to an hour, depending on, you know, what we're doing. You know, not everybody's got that amount of time. So it was kind of like, how else can we use the Akashic Records? I use them in a very conscious way. I use them with a pendulum. I would use them with charts. Now, that's without the cards. Again, that's a process that we have to learn. That can take a little bit of time. But once we've learned it, it is a quick way. However, Oracle cards, people love Oracle cards. And what the Oracle cards do is they give you a visual representation to actually allow your intuition to connect with. And so so for me, creating the Oracle cards was the most practical way of using the Akashic Records, because it hits lots of intuitive gifts that we have, depending on what your style is. And if I could then from a tangible perspective, make a deck of cards, and I'm holding my deck of cards now in my hands, which feel luxurious, that have a soft touch to them, that have lots of gold elements, shiny gold. For me, gold is a really high vibrational color, and the Akashic records are a high vibrational realm. So if you're looking at gold and you're feeling gold, straight away your vibration is lifted, and you're not having to do anything. All you're doing at this point is touching the cards. So for me, it was important to have a tangible object that put you in a place of, I'm ready for Akashic record connection, and I'm holding something, I'm holding a tool that's going to allow me to do that. It's I guess it's creating an anchor, or a kind of that subconscious
I was going
connection.
for a shortcut, also kind of a shortcut to
absolutely, totally, yeah, totally a shortcut, absolutely. And so then with
and a
these
beautiful
oracle
one for
cards,
that sake.
say that again.
And a beautiful one for that sake. if
Absolutely,
you're going to have a
yes.
shortcut.
Yeah, no, definitely shortcut. So by picking a card from this deck, what you're doing, I mean, everything is intention with the Akashic records. So if you're setting the intention, I want to go into my Akashic records, I'm using a deck of cards that's purposely created for Akashic record readings and healing, then again, you're kind of setting that intention very firmly. However, you don't have to use an Akashic Oracle card deck to go into your Akashic records. You could use any Oracle card deck. It's about intention. And what I would suggest you do, and this is something that I talk about with the masterclass that comes with my cards, is that if you're using your intention, I am going to go into my Akashic records, and then you use your details, your full name, your date of birth and place of birth. This is the Akashic records that I want to go into, and you give your details. Then you've set the intention, you're going into the right records because you've given the details. And I would always encourage you to call in your guides, of course, because we're doing intuitive spiritual work, and that you ask for the truth and accuracy to come through the cards, through your intuition, with 100% truth and accuracy. That's all you need to do as you set your intention for your practice. Very, very simple. I now open my records because I've said my stuff, and then you shuffle your cards. Whatever cards you're using, you shuffle your cards, and then you're thinking of your question. What do you want to know? Do you want to do some karmic healing? Do you want some guidance around a particular situation? You want to ask empowering questions, not kind of like, am I going to marry this person? Or, those types of questions. Very disempowering. It's kind of hows and whys, Why is this relationship between me and this person challenging at the moment, And then we've got the records open. So we're going to get that information from the records. And what we can do is we can pick a card, and then obviously you're tuning into the card, but you could ask questions as, is this connected to past life, or is it connected to this lifetime? And obviously, however you read your oracle cards, you're going to start to pick up those answers, but you're going to pick up more vibrationally because you've purposely opened your Akashic records. So, and what we can do then is
like
also
oracle reading on steroids.
It's what, sorry?
Oracle reading on steroids.
It's absolutely oracle card reading on steroids, because you're hitting more than one lifetime. But what you're also doing is you're bringing through any information that you need to do healing around. And that's the difference. Because you've opened up your records, you're opening up the opportunity to heal something that is ready to be healed. So that might have been the intention. Give me a card, give me an indication of what I need to heal from my Akashic records now that is holding me back, say, from money flow. And so you shuffle your cards, you think of that intention, you pull your card, and then you read whatever you need to read in that card, however you choose to read it. And then you can then ask, is there some healing that I can activate here? Now, this is where you can get your pendulum out, and you can do a little bit of psychic detective work with yes and no answers. You can do muscle testing. So there's always ways and means, or you can intuitively just tune into your guides and get the yes or no. And then what we can do is then activate. You can ask for healing to be done in your Akashic records. And the simplest way, if you don't use a pendulum, is to ask for the violet flame to come into your Akashic records and to transmute all of the, say, money blocks that are there from any timeline, lifetime, universal dimension, because the violet flame is under the law of one, so we can all invoke it. And you just ask for the violet flame to go through your records. And then you just sit with that and maybe visualize or just sense or feel that visual of that violet flame, just going, transmuting all that needs to be transmuted. And then you'll just know when that's completed. And then if you don't feel that you need to do any more work in your Akashic records, or you don't want to pull another card, it's really important to close down your records. So once you've completed, you just say, I now close my Akashic records, and it is done.
And voila.
Voila.
The thing that I love is that since we are working in the Akashic records, if I understand correctly, we are not healing only this lifetime, we're healing all the lifetimes, all the timelines.
Absolutely.
So if we touch
and if you want to be, sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, and if you wanted to kind of really make sure on that, what you could say is, I want to connect to all timelines or lifetimes of that particular block, or you go to the root causes of those blocks, or you just ask for the healing, to kind of be activated throughout all timelines.
That's beautiful. That seems like such an direct way to work with the Akashic records, because for I'm pretending to be a dummy, but I'm not complete dummy. Akashic records, and there is a lot of how can I say that? There's a lot of fluff around it very often, that people kind of present it as a complicated, experts on. I love that you just go, okay, just there and go and do it. So my next question would be, so you obviously, when you started working with oracle cards around in the Akashic records rather than around, you did not have your own deck. So first you worked with other people's decks. Did you do a type of deck that was calling you, or was it just whatever?
I worked with the Akashic Tarot deck, so it was the only other specific Akashic Oracle card deck that at the time I was drawn to. It was a Hay House. It was Sandra Taylor and Sandra and Killinger. I think Killinger. I can't say the surname, but it's been out for a little while now. It's probably maybe 6. Yeah, that deck's probably about 6 years old. I got it on I ordered it on sale. Yeah.
And if I hear you correctly, very fast, you decided to create your own.
I worked with that deck probably for about 5 years. I was using that deck for my own. Actually, maybe about 4 years, 5 years before I then had my own deck in my hands. So my deck has been out just literally a year. So. I started, but the deck took about 18 months to create. So but that's
did you download the information from the Akashic records for this deck?
Yeah. So I worked with my guides. It was a specific project. So it was a co-creative experience with my guides the whole time. So I downloaded each card, what chambers there were going to be. So the way that I use the Akashic records is we split them into chambers. So we've got the chambers, say, of relationships, the chamber of money or wealth, the chamber of business. And so the purpose of a chamber is that you have the very specific information channeled directly around that particular life area. It comes through that particular channel. So there's these 7 channels or 7 chambers with 7 cards in each chamber. So I very much kind of downloaded all of that information, what each card was going to be called, and the alignment within it, the alignment message, but also then obviously the deeper, more expansive message. So that was all downloaded with my guides. Yeah.
So that's 49 cards. Am I correct, math?
Yeah, 49 cards. Yeah.
Because we're going to show a little bit of the deck, although who are listening only will not have that. But I want to look. So, do they come with a booklet?
Yeah, so the deck of cards itself is here. So it's a beautiful box that has the kind of like hinge, the hinge and the kind of like the magnet snap. And then the book is here, which basically is very simple. It's kind of one page per card. It has an overview, a deeper message, and then what we've got is the Akashic alignment. And the purpose of the Akashic alignment is to put the success anchor in. So whenever I do healing in the Akashic Records, it leaves a void. And I don't want the void to be filled with anything that is not beneficial for us, because it could be put back in. So the alignment, the purpose of the Akashic alignment is then to say that mantra to replace the void. So when you've done healing, as I was giving that demonstration or example around, say, money blocks, then we would, whatever, say, for instance, we've got the vows of poverty card. Then the Akashic alignment, I'm now going to put into my Akashic Records because the violet flame has done its thing. I'm now going to put in as a success anchor, I create money and wealth with ease. And that's going to be my alignment energy that fills the void. And that's what I want to start to experience.
And that also kind of not predicts, but influences the future, right? Is that what you were saying at the beginning?
Absolutely.
This is also kind of the thing that we send into the future, the intention or the anchor we send into the future.
Absolutely, yeah.
It serves a double purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. And I talk a little bit a bit more about that in the masterclasses. When we put the Akashic alignment in, what we can do is also add in that layer of visualization whilst we're holding the card, whatever. And what you can do is you can imagine that you're saying that affirmation and you're pressing it into your present lifetime book in the Akashic Records. So you're really kind of adding this extra layer of sensory feeling, visualization. You're saying the words, so you're spelling, you're putting the actual words out into the quantum field. And if you're using a pendulum and you're spinning a pendulum clockwise, which I provide a key pendulum with all of the cards as well. If you're spinning that clockwise, even if you can't use a pendulum, you can actively spin it clockwise. You're also creating a vortex of energy that's also adding another layer of magic. I'm all about layering magic as much as possible to get the best result that we can.
So just wait a second. This is not me buying a deck then. I get a deck, 49 cards. I get a booklet. I get a beautiful box. I get a pendulum key. And I get access
and you get a masterclass.
Wow, this is so amazing.
That's why it's a modality. That's why it's a modality in a box. It's not just an oracle box.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, it's a kind of toolbox in one in home.
Yes.
That's beautiful. I love that. So just want to remind everyone who's listening, whether live or on the replay or the actual podcast, you will find all the information on Marina, on her website, and where to buy the deck, because that's what you want now, around in an above or below the video, depending on which platform you're listening to. So, you can go there, and I'm sure there is a link to buy the deck, or rather the modality in a box. I love that. It's really cool. Now, I want to know, because I'm curious, can we know the 7 chambers?
You can. Absolutely. And I'm going to just to make sure that I get them in the right order. Okay, so the 7 chambers, we've got love, we've got business, self-discovery, spirituality, wealth, relationships, and vitality.
Ooh,
so we're kind of, so vitality is kind of about health. Relationships is definitely more connected with romantic relationships, and the love is more romantic relationships, and the relationships is kind of like family ties, friendships, all kinds of relationships. Self-discovery is very much our connection to ourselves. So we've got things like self-confidence in there, we've got inner authority, transforming fears, shadow love. So I kind of cover all aspects of our human experience, and each of the cards hold duality, so you can see the positive in the card, but you can also see the shadow in the card, and it's really what you pick up. As with all oracle cards, it's where we're at in the present moment.
And so they're obviously very beautifully decorated. We know that there's gold. Did you do the
Yes.
artwork, artworks rather?
I created mood boards, and I had an illustrator create them for me. So she added her own downloaded information to them, but I very much created the mood boards for every
Mm-hmm,
single one. Kind of gave her the flavor, what the influences are of the card, what the downloaded information was that supported in terms of text, and she then came up with them, and then between us, we kind of went backwards and forwards, and then I signed them off. So it was in that sense, it was a co-creative experience.
mm-hmm.
So she added her own bits and pieces to them, but essentially they were from my mood boards.
Mm-hmm. So the whole deck was, or the modality in the box was a collaboration between the universe and two people.
Yes, pretty much.
I
Yeah.
love that. So let's be specific. How much is the modality in a box? Oh, you're in the before we go there, you're in the UK, right?
I'm in the UK. Yeah.
Okay. So no, because
So
I know that there's a lot of people listening from all over. So
yeah. So I post worldwide. So I post to all countries, and I have
Ooh,
posted
awesome.
to a lot of countries. So they're £49 for the modality in the box, plus postage and packaging.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you very much. That is very comprehensive explanation. Now, I'm interested in do we really believe here that anyone can use them, or is there a how can I say that? Is there someone in me that would prevent me from using them? What if I don't trust myself to be an Akashic record reader for myself using this deck? Is there can the deck help me go past this kind of, because I think that there is a lot of can I say fear, or at least lack of self-trust around reading your own records. There's immediately, or at least I feel that there might be immediately am I making this up? Is this, my whole ego playing,
Yeah.
etc., etc.? So
An element of that is going to be somebody needing to get over their own fear around reading, using cards, first of all. And that's only going to come through practice and self-belief, and really kind of having this open mind and just allowing themselves to be curious, just very much keeping an open mind. Part of the masterclass that I share with this particular deck, we do an attunement to the Akashic Records, we do an attunement to the cards, and part of that, there is a clearing that does support clearing any past life persecution around using your gifts, opening up the third eye, and supporting and any kind of misuse perhaps, or thoughts around not being able to get into the Akashic Records. I kind of cover off that in the masterclass. But over and above that, if we've still got a person that's quite nervous or believes that they could do something wrong, then there's the invocation that supports you to get access into your Akashic Records. So I'm providing all of these tools that your ego perhaps needs in order to start to build trust. But building trust is going to be built further through practice. So it's really about just allowing yourself to, have an open mind and be curious, and just start small. Just start small with a daily card of, what do I most need to know today? I'll have my Akashic Records open just so I can have a feel of if I'm feeling anything different to what I would normally do without my records open. But I just get used to the practice of opening and closing them. And I'm going to just tune into this card. What do I most need to know today? Okay, what am I picking up? Okay, so I'm guessing there might be something about my inner authority. Maybe I need to have more courage, more confidence. Okay, I'll just sit with that. I will close my records for now, and I'll just then come back to the card at the end of the day. How did you get on with your inner authority through the day? Did you feel more bold? Did you feel more courageous? Or were you challenged with your inner authority? How did it show up for you? This is about self-awareness. It's about self-inquiry. And this is an empowerment tool. So we've got to empower ourselves to get over our fears in order to use the records. And I think that's with anything in life, it's not just about the records.
Idea that, as a tool, it can start to work on me using the tool, if you see what I mean. It's kind
absolutely,
of
absolutely. And what you will find when you start using the Akashic Records, inadvertently, your intuition gets stronger. I've noticed, and it opens up other gifts. So you'll have your main gift that you'll work with, but you'll start to notice that perhaps your clairvoyance comes online, your clairaudience skills will start to come online. My clairaudience skills totally came online from using the Akashic Records.
Oh,
they weren't there before. Yeah. And I'm not clairvoyant, I'm claircognizant. So mine's a sense of knowing. So I'm not visual. So I really have to kind of just know that this is the truth. And then my clairsentience started to come online. So I've noticed that my gifts have got stronger the more that I've used the records.
Yeah, I believe that is true actually for anyone. Practice makes not perfect, but practice makes. First of all, it helps anyone get reassured on their own gifts, because if you use them, it's like riding a bike. Basically, you get better at it.
Absolutely, yeah. Practice makes progress.
Yeah. Oh yeah, practice makes progress. Yes, because I don't like the perfect sentence, because I'm not about perfection. Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, who do you work with on a general basis with this deck? As for yourself in your business, do you work with regular people, or with business people, with entrepreneurs?
It's a mix. It's mainly women. Most are on a subscription, so that means that it's a package and I see them every quarter, because we do Akashic healing as part of the session, because it's modality. And it's mainly females. It is mainly women in business, actually, but one of the ladies that I've seen today, she's just signed up for the 3rd year with me, so I can hold space, and we work together 4 times through the year. She's kind of like in her late 70s. So, I work with all sorts of mainly women on their journey.
But what I find interesting in your bio, and again, I noted that this idea that you can be helping behind the scenes with spiritual entrepreneurs, or with the leaders that of the new earth or the new world, and so that the Akashic Records, of course, can be a place to get information on anything, but also very practical information on business. So I think that's really very cool that one of your chambers is connected to that, and that because there's so many people, basically spiritual entrepreneurs, who are lost with their own practical business steps. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and most of the women that I do serve, it is mainly business is usually the focus that we're looking at. Yeah.
That's interesting. I would have thought health or love.
No, no, but I think that energetically, that's just, I guess it's because I work in my own business a lot, and it's my main focus, and it's where I'm growing and evolving much of my time. So that's, energetically, that's the match for the client that I generally, attract.
Law of attraction, right? Like energy attracts like energy.
The law of resonance. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I love that. Well, so again, people who are listening, rush, go and have a look on Marina's website. Look at these cards. No, because there's part of doing a podcast and only doing it on audio is a little frustration when you're talking about a deck, that people didn't get to see how beautiful this deck is, which it is. So go and have a look at it. And then I'm sure you can't resist it, because not only is it, as we said, way more than a deck, but it's for me, being a visual, it's very important that it is beautiful, and that the attraction starts there. I have worked with many decks in my life, and some of them I've actually ordered on the meaning of the deck and then sent back when I saw the images for real. It was like, nope, you can't work with this, too ugly.
Yeah, yeah.
Not obviously, right? So,
Yeah,
and I loved what you said about the gold color being a kind of already a vibration, a lifting
yeah,
vibration to get us there. So it's
yeah.
even before you turn the cards, you are getting transported into Akashic Records. Um,
Absolutely. And what I've also kind of included, and you'll see like in a lot of the imagery, and obviously with the key pendulum, it's about unlocking your future. So what you'll find that there are hidden keys in all of the cards, and then the back of the card has a key as well, but there's hidden keys in all of the cards. So that's the
where is that?
symbology that's just coming through all of the cards, because it's about unlocking, it's unlocking us, you know, and we don't have to be stuck. We don't have to be stuck in our circumstances. We're empowered to create change. And that's what these cards support you with.
Yeah, and I love the idea that very often what we consider blocks are actually locks, and that we just need to find the key or to remember where we hid the key and just open
I
them.
love
It's
that.
not like something that is
Yeah,
completely exterior to us, like a block would be like a rock in the middle of our path. But it's sometimes very
yes,
often a lock that we have closed in either this lifetime or
absolutely.
another
We
one,
created it.
and then hid the key
Yeah,
very nicely. So here we go.
yes, yeah.
So yeah, I love that, and I love the key symbolism. I'm going to spend some money, I think. So, thank you very, very much, Marina, for being my guest tonight.
Oh,
It has
thank
been
you so much,
amazing.
Saya.
Let me remind everyone that you will find Marina's details above or below the video. You can find her Facebook, her YouTube channel, her website, obviously. And you can go and meet Marina. You can buy her decks, but you can also maybe work with her, as we've noticed, in a, how do you call it, a membership or a, how do you call it
I've
again?
got a Akashic business membership. I do one-to-ones. I've got a certification. I've got all sorts of things going on.
Ooh, awesome. Well, here is for you to discover, ladies and gentlemen, listening to us. And I just forgot to ask: is your deck undeckable, or is it not suitable for it to be undeckable?
It's not undeckable, but it's totally suitable to be undeckable. Yeah, I've just
Well,
not put it on there.
interesting.
I need to do that.
So, yeah, I just wanted to say also that because we're diaries series, that there is going to be a second edition of the OTALOCO Congress, which was the Oracle and Tarot Lovers Congress that happened last year in 2023. There was supposed to be 2 editions in 2024. But my health is not allowing me for 2 editions yet. There is one planned. It's in October. And I'm really hoping that you get to see more of Marina at this occasion. Last year, her deck was on show on the Otoloco shop page. But this year, I do hope to see more of you and to have the opportunity to have another conversation. So thank you very
Absolutely.
much once again.
Thank you.
And very much for having us, both of us, and see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.